just to catch you up real quick, Bonnie, I was in a workshop situation today where a former casting director was there was an actor there who said that they were opening an independent film that night, and they were really excited to go to their opening, and they were looking for representation, or their reps pretty much are just sending them out for commercials, not really sending them out for legit is film and television and theater, by the way. And they weren't being sent out on that, and she said that she really wouldn't it be big news for her representation to be able to say that she was starring in an independent film that was coming out that night. She was actually going to the opening, and that person said, and I'd love to have your input on this, Bonnie, that person said, actually not really, because if the film, even if you're the lead role in it, if the film was not hey, Oral Outhouse, good to see you again. If the film was not going to have distribution, that it probably wasn't going to be something that would sell them to get in the room. And I kind of thought, that's interesting, because, yeah, it's good to see you again. Thanks for coming. Because when you think you get, a lead role in an independent film, and you think it's going to get some play at festivals, or it's going to be out there, obviously you're going to think, wow, this is going to be news. This should help me get representation. But it's interesting because independent film, and one of the things that he brought up was, everybody and their brother's making independent films these days, which is actually, that is true. There are a lot of people out there who are making independent films. And I thought to myself, well, this is, there's a couple of different ways to look at this. One, if you're the actor and you are considering a role in independent film, what would be the type of roles that you would want to get in order to make that film interesting to you, worthwhile to you, help you to get to that next tier, help you to, what is it you're looking for when you go to do an independent film versus getting network TV? Like, where are you at in terms of being an actor? Right, it's a perfect time to choose, and this was my thought exactly. Make sure that if you're going to go to do an independent film as an actor, this is putting the actor hat on right now, yes, that's going to map out where you are headed. Bonnie Gillespie, please follow her. This is dead on exactly what she does. Is she helps people brand themselves, helps people find their bullseyes, helps them realize what kind of roles would I want to take. You're saying you're a young filmmaker, and this is awesome information. Great. I am so glad that you're saying this, because for me, because I'm on both sides of the table, remember, I'm both the filmmaker and I'm the actor. So what this means as the filmmaker is that you need to, when you go to somebody, oh, you guys, thank you so much, and thank you for the hearts, this is wonderful, thank you, Bonnie, is that if you are the filmmaker, what is it going to be worth to get those people into your film? What are you doing? This means you have to be a very good casting director when you do it, or you have to get a good casting director that's going to go out and find you maybe a name role, a name person to possibly be in your film, which is going to up your game as a filmmaker to possibly then get distribution. Because Kathy Carey, who is another filmmaker who's on here, she has managed to do this, and I think it's very smart, where she gets she will make sure that she gets some kind of a name, somebody who has some sort of a name in her production. And this is how Hollywood works. I mean, we all know this. You're always saying to yourself, but I'm brilliant, I could play that role. But no, they're going to go with, Captain and Tennille, or whoever they're going to go. They're going to go with a name actor. And the reason that they do this, and this is very important for young filmmakers to understand, or first time, yes, get that bankable commodity. The more likely they are to get distribution if they have some kind of a star name attached. And, star names fall into all sorts of different tiers as well. So you have to think about this. If you can get somebody, and that means you have to write a role for somebody who is a potential star, or has had television shows, or has been in films, that they are dying to play that role because maybe people haven't looked at them in that way before. They haven't had a juicy role lately, and they're looking for some kind of vehicle that's going to get them to wherever they're trying to get to next. So as a young filmmaker, you have to think about that when you have your roles available, and you're thinking, who would play this? Like I have a couple people in mind that I think would be like excellent and aren't working a ton right now, that it would be nice to be able to take it to them and have them, if they took it and they liked the script, they would be willing to do that role. It's going to bring everybody else on board. How do you know they're the right person, or is that a personal choice? Well, it depends on your script, right? So whatever script you have and whatever role that is, it better be a juicy role if you're trying to attract somebody. It has to be a role that's going to give them, you know, all the rainbows and colors that they can play as an actor, that's going to show them being brilliant. Because remember, they're going to do an independent film that they don't know where that's going to go. So it has to be absolutely worth it to them. And they have to know that you're credible, that you're not going to, you know, produce some piece of shit that they're not going to eventually want to be in. That means you have to really think about your production values. That really, you know, you have to have everything be professional, right? You're working on a career as a screenwriter. Any advice? Well, write roles that people want to play, you know, and from your heart, something that's personal from your heart that means a lot. And like, for instance, I am willing to, even though I wrote a film a number of years ago that I would like to pull the dust off of, but I originally wrote it for me. But there are 3 potential people that are stars that could play that role. Now that if they could get the film made, I'm going to step aside and say, yeah, I wrote that role for myself. But if I could potentially get a star into that role instead of me, you know, I would do it in order to get that film produced. That's taken me a long time to think about that, because it's called Big City, Big Blonde. I'm clearly not blonde anymore. And you think it's a difficult task to act and direct your project? That depends on the project. I will say that this last film that I did, I was both a writer, the producer, and I had a small role in it. And it was, you know, if I could have given up that small role that I was playing, I probably would have done it. But I was also working with 28 children. So I had that extra administrative producer hat work that was a huge overload of work. So for me to even play a small role in it was probably too much for me. But what I learned from that project was I needed extra producers. I just needed extra producers on there. You're entering a contest. Is that a smart path? Well, you know what? We're going to take that's entering a contest as a smart path. I'm going to write that down. That's a different subject matter. Is it okay if we deal with that another night? Because I want to keep on topic about the topic. So festival, because there are certain festivals that are great to enter as a screen contest, and there are other ones that are not worth your time, and we can talk about that. Yes, that's we should do a contest topic for another episode. That's a great, yes, please follow me, and you know, and recommend me to people that are in your same shoes, that are thinking about these things for the first time, and I'm happy to address any subjects that come up like this. And another person you should follow is Kathy Carey. That's Kathy with an I, Kathy Carey, Carey, so it's C. Why am I not just writing this shit down? I'm going to do it for you, because she's also another filmmaker, and she does great periscopes on the same. Okay. Oh, there. Yeah. Thank you, at Kathy Carey. Thank you. Get a screenshot of that if this later. Yeah. So Kathy Carey. Okay. Good. So Jesus, did I even spell this wrong? You know, it is. Oh, God, it's with a K. So back to the subject, which is as an actor, when is it worth your while to actually do it? And as a producer, how do you make it worthwhile for those actors to do it? Because those actors, if they're doing this, there's either no or very little pay. So what is the motivation going to be? The motivation has to be something that is going to be worth the quality. And quite often you'll hear copy credit meals, right? That's what you're going to get it. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Are you kidding? We are all in this together, people. If we can all work together, we're going to make this all so much, yes, a better place. A role that they're crazy about. It has to be something that is going to be worth their while, because copy credit meals just doesn't cut it all the time. But in order for you to get, if that actor can get juicy role to put on their reel, that's what's going to matter to that actor. That's what's going to matter to that actor. So that is, and I'm talking about, you know, both the roles that you might try to be getting a star person, or a person who's done television, let's say 10, 20 years ago in your project, and that counts, by the way. any kind of you know, there's what they call an A, what they call an A actor, a B actor, a C actor, right? They have these kind of tiers in Hollywood that they count it at. But if you can get somebody who hasn't worked, yes, or has a cameo. I have a very good friend that I met at the Garden State Film Festival who did a film called Waiting in the Wings. It's a musical. And he put, you should go to see the trailer, the people that he put in this. I mean, he even has Shirley Jones in this movie. And of course, it's winning at all these different festivals. And by the way, Shirley Jones is on for like that much time. And he's got, yes, pay them $20K for a day. Do whatever you need to pay those stars to actually be in the film. You are going to be able to get funding for that film because everybody's going to bank on the fact that you do have somebody with a name and the likelihood of that distribution is going to go up. Then if your other, you know, your other roles that are less and less, you know, less like the co-stars and the guest star type size of roles, I'm talking television talk now for film, but if they're in that capacity, if they know that there's a star in it or what I'd say a star that was a star, let's say 10 years ago, they are more likely to want to be on it because they know that it's going to do better in the festival circuits. It's going to get into all the festivals. And yes, the name on your set always gets more views as well. So these are very important because who the heck is going to want to constantly work for free? Unless they can get that real. Even those guest stars and those co-star type roles, they're going to want to be on that set because they can say on their resume, I was in this film with so-and-so. And it does make a difference on for their credits. And if they can get even a nice little tiny scene out of it, that's something that they need for their reel, that's wonderful. Now, I will say this. There is a lot of directors out there, and this is rampant in the student films. Emerson is fantastic. Thank you, Emerson. Emerson is amazing, by the way. You should follow him. He's just oh God, what a riot. He makes me smile all day. It makes me smile all day watching Emerson. So when I'm, where was my track of thought? The hell was I talking about? Oh, I was saying, if you tell them you're going to give them copy credit meals, get them their damn copy. You've got to do that. That is so rude. It is so rude when you say to an actor, come work for me for free, for nothing. And by the way, on their resume, this credit, especially if you have no stars in it, this credit means nothing, you know, in terms of them trying to get into a room for like a television series, for a studio thing. That is not going to help them at all, having your credit on the resume. So yes, and it puts a bad name on you as well. So this is what I'm saying. You've done so much and people lag getting you demo opportunity. That's just bullshit. That is bullshit. There's no excuse for it because you know what? You can ask your editor, like I hire editors, and I can ask them, throw me, yes, everybody follow actually Emerson for sure. I can say to my editor, just throw me what you have right now. In fact, I sent the people that were in my my film from the rough cut. Once I got a rough cut, I actually cut because it's like, what idiot can't do some editing now these days? I mean, if you can't do it in Final Cut 10, you could at least do it in iMovie, and iMovie is basically almost Final Cut 10 at this point anyway, and you're still owed footage from the last acting gig in 2000. Yes, you can give them raw footage. It works. The minute, yes, and you know what? And you send scenes when the film starts festivals. I send scenes ahead because it's so short. Whatever these, one of my brother runs a high school production. Shit, I missed that comment. Say it again. Once it goes into festival, obviously, and I did that for my first couple. I was like, ooh, I better not send out any scenes from my films until da-da-da. But you know what? It sets up promo for your film by those actors out there, and how many people are really looking at that? Seriously, I downloaded my Lightworks so I can edit my own things. No shit. That's right. You just get out there, get your own iMovie, and you can also even screenshot it now, like there's ways and there's software you can get where you can actually watch it, and you tell them not to post it publicly. Listen, they're going to put it, and they need it, you guys. They need it for Actors Access. They need it for, fuck it, make it yours. They need download helper. There we go. There's one, and they should be able to my kid, we never get the stuff that he does, like on Saturday Night Live and all that stuff, so I have to screen grab that. I actually hired an editor to do that, so it would be better than the quality that I had. But it's worth it because it's really, you guys, a scene isn't going to matter. That little tiny scene that you give them that is for their reel is not what is download helper. There, go Google down. My brother runs a high school film production class, and one of his former students got a job at Pixar. Congratulations, congratulations, that's just awesome, that's amazing. You see, you know, as my dad used to say to me all the time, you can do anything you put your mind to. If there's something there's a Firefox plugin. Somebody else is talking about that. And if you have Yosemite right now, which a lot of us don't have because we're worried about losing our other software, but if you upgrade to Yosemite, you can just you can record it off a QuickTime player, just as a little heads up on little technology news. So you can do it that way, but there's no excuse. If you are the filmmaker, when I'm the filmmaker, I get my kids their reel. I get any actor that wants it, they have it. And I send them, you know what else I do? Is I send them every scene that they have that I know is worth a reel, because I'm both an actor and a producer. I know what's worth a reel and what's not worth a reel. And then I just throw it to them kind of just in a, back to back to back. And I say, which scene do you want? And I edit it for them, because you know why? Because they worked for nothing for me. So the least I can do is get them their damn reel. So as a filmmaker, keep that in mind. You have to do that. I don't care how busy you are, and you are busy. And you know what? I didn't sleep for a year. I gained 20 pounds and didn't sleep for a year because we were in the editing process and everything. But I still got the people their damn reel, because why else are they going to work for you? You have to think this through. Write them material that's going to be amazing material that they are going to want to be a part of. 2, try to get some kind of a star or has-been star. That's me calling every actor that came to callbacks booked or not. What do you mean? That's me calling every actor that came to callbacks booked or not. You had to beat it out of your editor. Yeah, and you shouldn't have to beat it out of your editor. If I get to call in the good news people, I need to let everybody know they didn't get it. Well, that's really, really nice to do. That is really nice to do. That's very polite, and that's wonderful. And you know what? There's a casting director here in the city, in New York City, that does that too. Brett Goldstein. God love her. God love her. She just hired me for I Love You, but I lied. I got a job on that. Yeah. And you know what? I Love You, but I lied. Do you know that Lifetime Movie Network sent us the entire episode after it was aired? They sent us the entire episode. Now that is good. That's behaving responsibly, because that was set up on one of these new contracts that they have. And, so it wasn't a huge amount of money for people. For me, it was great, because I was in there for like 2 hours and I was out of there. But there were some people that had to work 3 days, limited hours or whatever. It says, I don't think you should find out you weren't cast by seeing it up on IMDb. That's true. And you know what else? The same thing for this Filmmakers. Somebody did something really classy. I was cast in Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, and I had a nice little scene. And everything, and I blame, what's her name from, and I love her as an actor and a producer, but the one from, they were all, she was just in a movie with Melissa McCarthy. They were like guys, and come on, Sandra Bullock. Oh, I'm getting old. Okay, so Sandra Bullock was on the set for that, right? And she had to leave like 2 days early or something to start something new, so it upset the apple cart of the entire production, right? So everybody that shot my day, like we all were the people that he knocked on the door and said, and he would, looking for the key, doing the key match. He was going door to door trying to find the key match. And I was one of these people, and I was had a nice little role, right? But it got all screwed up, so it was a second unit thing. Locations were already booked. They couldn't change it. Everybody got cut from that day. I mean, it was shit balls amount of money that was spent that day. And then everybody that were in those scenes were cut. They did the nicest thing. Because now I can't put it on my resume because I'm not in that damn film. So if I put it, and I'm not on IMDb, right? So I can't really put it on my resume legitimately and not look like an asshole to some casting director who might like check my resume and go, she's lying, right? So But what they did do was they sent every one of us an email telling us, and I know they were blowing smoke up our ass, but they sent us an email saying how wonderful we were to work with, that they would, obviously try to work with us again, feel terrible about the scene being cut. So that they did it before we would go to the movie theater to see ourselves and find out we weren't in it. Classy move. That's a classy move. Like the Bonnie Gillespie calling up and saying, hey, you're not in the film. And that, as a filmmaker, you should do that. And if you cut them, send them their footage anyway. If you do end up editing them, send them their footage. Well, it's still horrible. Whatever. The check cashed. That's all I have to say about that. And they were very nice that whole day on set. Everybody was. And I end up still seeing all those wardrobe people on other sets. So it's whatever. It is what it is. So my point is, treat your actors well, write them juicy roles, get them on the set, and then if you can't afford to pay them a decent wage or to do that, because everybody and their brother's doing it, just remember that remind you of a national commercial, sure. Remember that your credit on their resume will count. If you're an extra, can you still claim that on a resume? I would not. And let me tell you why I wouldn't. I would not claim it on your resume because then in the future people are going to think of you as, oh, that's what they do as background work. Take the money, take the experience, learn about it. I mean, even if you have nothing else on your resume, I wouldn't do it. Maybe Bonnie feels differently, but I would never put background on a resume. Because it makes you, remember your resumes are supposed to, Bonnie Gillespie says this, so credit her. Resumes should be about where you want to go, not about where you've been. And you don't want to remain a background performer as an actor. Yeah. Teach them how to cast you, as Sean just said. That's great. Yeah. Yeah, you get branded as background. Just don't put it on your resume. There we go. So my point is then, as an actor, remember that when you send out your postcards. Let's say that you are in an independent film and it's going to be at such and such a festival. That's not necessarily distribution, but it still is news to the casting director. But remember that if they're looking at it and they're trying to convince a network to bring you in for a lead role, that's not really big cachet for that. If the film goes to Sundance and gets distribution, hell yeah. And do you ever know what's going to happen with these damn independent films? No, you have no idea where the hell these are going to go. So there's always a chance that it could go somewhere. iActor for SAG has separate resumes, lead and background. Well, usually on resumes what it'll say is, you mean you could do a separate resume for background work? Is that what you mean? That's interesting. And then that would be very valuable, because I'm not saying you shouldn't do background work. Let's say you really, you want to make some money and be on a set that day. Hey, go for it. And if it's something that you need you need experience on a set and you want to see how a set runs, you should do it. I wonder if having Mickey Rourke would help get The Wrestler made. It's what attracted me to see. Of course. This is what this is all about. This is what this is all about. Is, how are you going to get people in the seats to watch the film? So Mickey Rourke directed you. Yeah, the director was a name, but you know what? I hate to say it, but the general public knows stars' names more than they know directors' names. Of course they know names like Scorsese or the Coen brothers or whatever. But some people don't even know that. They just know that The Rock is going to be in it, and that's why they go to see the movie. So you have to think about that. The person that you put it in, unless it's Spielberg, right? Or Scorsese, right? Or Woody Allen, right? So, yeah, exactly. Mickey did so well at it. So what I'm saying is, or Kathy Carey. Wouldn't you go to see that film? So, what my point is, and Kathy, you probably have to play the repeal because I'm kind of winding this down here. But yeah, The Rock will be in it. See, count you in. Exactly. People they want to be associated with people that make their game go to the next level. Make people who want to watch them or be with them or whatever the next level. Big star names. Doesn't even have to be big star names. Like I said, listen, I worked for a guy but it is a selling point, and it gets you money. People will put money, they will invest in your film based upon the names that you are bringing to the project. For the feature version of my short, 3 names have already been named. I've been told that they're being, what do you call it? They've already been told about the film, and I have been instructed to write certain roles to make them very juicy for those people, right? So of course I am. What am I, an idiot? So you just make those roles worth people's while, so they want to be on your film, and that's what I'm working on. That's what I'm working on, and I have certain people in mind. Then you know what I did? One person in particular that they told me about, that they knew they could probably get for the film. I went and I watched a bunch of films he was in, so I would understand his brand. Would you consider helping with a cyber reality show edutainment? Considering helping. What do you mean by helping? Yeah, that's what you got to do. I don't know what you mean by that. So, if there's any other, I think we're winding down here, but that was my point. Was that? Oh no! Hold it, shit! I made a list while I was at the pool at my kid's lesson. Let me make sure I got it. I said number 1. Oh, this is a reason why you would do an independent film as an actor. Okay. Oh, you just discovered me for the first time, so you don't know what I do. I'm an actor and I'm a filmmaker, writer and producer. All right. I have hired my directors, however, because, I can only concentrate on so many things at once. Okay, so 1, and I believe in collaboration makes a better product. 1, I said, because I got really pissed off about it, to be frank, at first. I got really ticked because I'm an independent filmmaker, right? So I got really pissed about the whole thing. 1, as an actor, what are the advantages of doing independent film? I'm just going to list this off at the end here. 1, the feeling, Bonnie. The feeling of, I could take it or I could leave it. By constantly going to auditions and getting a lot of experience in independent film, you're going to have the feeling when you go into a room more like, I'm going to do my best here, but I can take it or I can leave it. And the more work you do, the more you get about things. That doesn't mean you don't bust your ass getting ready for that audition. You do, but then you are so ready because you're constantly auditioning for these things that it's like, I could take it, I could leave it. All right. Then 2, you will start to know how to be in the zone. Yes, you're more attractive when they want you than you want them. I had the casting director for both that I've worked for her twice, on 30 Rock and for High Maintenance. And she had said at one point, you know what I like about you is that you always feel like I know Rosalie's got somewhere better to go after this than this audition. She's got something better to do. Yes, you don't live or die for each audition. I know you have a life outside of this. And the more you audition for these independent films, and there's a ton of them, yes, you give it your all. You do your prep. You do your preparation. You have your choices made. You have interesting choice. By interesting, and I hate that when casting directors say that, make interesting choices. Oh, well, then I'm going to jump up and down like a clown. No, that's not interesting choice. What they really mean is make an informed choice based on all the circumstances, the who, what, where, why of the circumstances, that you make informed auditions. Yes, an audition for the next day. Then you're going to be in the zone. You're going to be ready for it. And then 3, you don't know where that film's going to go, which we addressed. 4, you can get real, right? We discussed that. And then this is the place where you can improve your skills, right? It is a live chance to improve your skills in a film set and get better technique with the camera. Who, what, where, when, and why. Yes, do them and forget them. That's exactly it. And 7, you are building a relationship with people who you, again, can work with in the future. Because those independent filmmakers of today, you don't know where they're going to be 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line. I love indie films too, Kathy. Absolutely. This is your opportunity to be working with people who are going to continue to work in the business. You are building your web of trust with people, and people that when you're on that set for an independent film, and maybe you want to make another one later yourself, you can go, Gant, you know what, the sound guy was really, really good. Look at how great that sound was. And you've got that list of contacts of those people to go to, so should you want to go do another piece yourself later, right? Or you work with that director and you go, God, they were a nightmare. And you know to avoid that person in the future, no matter how big that project is. Maybe you just can't, you get an idea of the personality thing, that it's just not going to work out for you. There's just so much to learn from doing it. There are so many good reasons as an actor why you should do independent film. And then there are so many reasons as a producer that you have to pre-think, why the hell would somebody want to be on my set? What can I do to make it worth people's while if I'm not paying them really well and worth their time? Am I willing to be flexible? What am I willing to do in order to get this actor that I think is really brilliant on a set? Because I'll tell you what, the difference between really good independent films and really shit independent films is terrible acting. And you have no time for terrible acting on your set. You do not want terrible acting. So go out there and get the best actors that you can get. I did do another Periscope on how you can get great actors, and you can go follow that on YouTube. If you look up my name, Rosalie Tenson, on YouTube, I have a new Filmmakers forum, and I talked about it. Yes, and it has to be, that film has to be extremely, and we talked about this, Kathy, before you came in too, that those roles have to be extremely appealing to those lead actors. So we're kind of wrapping up right now. Hey, 10 Jadar. We were just talking about actors and filmmaking and why it would be worth it for people to do independent film and the advantages and the juicy roles and the work. Am I finding it easier today to find paying indie audiences, downloads, pay-per-view? Yes, but it just depends on how much you're getting paid. I mean, it's not like, you're bringing in the gazillions on some of those pay-per-views, right? So, welcome from Brazil. So, but it's much easier to get distribution or do self-distribution than it has ever been. I mean, it is the Wild West out there right now. It absolutely is the Wild West. So it pays to do your research. Talk to other filmmakers. Like I think Kathy Carey has one of her films on IndieFlix. She seems to like IndieFlix. So of course I'm going to look at IndieFlix. I can't distribute my film right now because it's being optioned for a feature. So I can't do that. But like if I have a short that I'm looking to do that with, I'm certainly going to go, that's going to be one of the first places that I look, because I look at Kathy Carey and I'm like, okay, well, she liked that place. She's obviously done her research and I trust her. You start to know who in the business is working and doing the same similar types of things you're doing, maybe the same type of genre, maybe not, but you take a look at where they have liked. You get on Stage 32, start talking to people there.com, and you go to the film festivals and you talk to everybody there and you get that information and you take it and write it down. And so I use Evernote. I don't know, that's an app where I can keep my notes on these things. Like I have a show Bible note, I have a film production notebook, I have a notebook just for my acting, casting directors, whatever, that you start to take notes on all this stuff so that you have access to your resources that you are building, and that's wonderful. Is it better than IMDb Pro? Is what better than IMDb Pro? Research. Oh, I'm talking about Evernote is a software where I keep notes. I keep notes about different things. Taking in all the info and filter. Yes, take in all the info, filter it later after research. Stage32.com. No, it's not. Stage 32 is like a Facebook for people who are in the film industry. What do I think of Amazon Studio Storyteller? I don't know enough about it, honestly. I'm talking from New York. Kathy Carey, who's on here, is talking from LA. She's a filmmaker from LA. I feel like I'm going on tonight, too long tonight. Yes, read the fine print. Absolutely, Kathy. Like anything that you go to agree to, really read the fine print, because you'll find out that some, like maybe you have to make $500 before they'll send you 3 cents, different places, So definitely, you do want to read the fine print on all of them. Like one place did want mine, but I was never going to make any money on it, so I could tell, Is Stage 32 good for new screenwriters? Yes, it is. Yep. If you're working in the film industry, get an account on there. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. It's like networking. Another great place for finding crew and stuff is Mandy.com, MANDY.com, Mandy.com. So, and I try to get these Periscopes up on YouTube within a week in my spare time. So if you want to see replays, you can always replay it there or share it with your friends there, or tell your filmmaker friends to follow me, follow Kathy, follow Bonnie. Read the fine print. Make sure you're willing to give up what they require. Yes. Sometimes they're asking for, more than you're willing to allow. Yes, Mandy. That's where you can hire a lot of crew members. Find a lot of crew members. Put out advertisement for crew members. Yep, Mandy.com. Yep, for cast and crew. Yep, I love Mandy. I love Mandy. But mostly you want to work with people who have already worked with other people, because then they're reliable on a set. I mean, make sure you know somebody that's worked with them first. Yes. But I did one on crew. I did one on assembling a crew at my YouTube. If you go to my new Filmmakers forum, just searching my name, you'll see one on about cast and crew. Yes. Gary Oberst is on Stage 32 and did a great video interviewing actors new to LA. Oh, that's wonderful. That's great. That's good. Aloha, Hawaii. Oh my God, there's only 3 places I haven't been in the United States. Like states is Hawaii, Maine, and Alaska. Tour has gotten me through all the other states. And Hawaii, shit. Is it 4? God dang it. 4 states I have not been to. Oh, no doubt Hawaii is awesome. I'm dying to go there. Oh, you're from Alaska? Oh my God, it's another one of the states I haven't been to. And it's so beautiful. I've seen pictures. I'm living vicariously through you, Lila. Maine. I know Maine's easy, but I haven't gone. I want to go. Because you got both the ocean. You got the ocean and you got the mountains. Come on. I mean, I got to get there. What the hell am I doing? I'm not there yet. It's driving in a car and I have a kid. And 3 dogs. That's why I haven't been to Maine. You have 9 left to work in there? Oh, Kristen, yes, we'll write a film in Maine. Come to Brazil? Oh, I would love to go to Brazil. I actually I did a producer's workshop with 2 people from Brazil, and my first AD was from Brazil. My first AD, Alberto Pimenta, is from Brazil. Brazil. Yep, I'd love to go to Brazil too, for sure. And now my first AD, Kathy, my first AD is in LA now. And if you ever need somebody who's absolutely reliable, Alberto, I'll get you in contact with him. Because if you need somebody on your set, he would do it in a heartbeat. Need a valet. Okay, you guys, keep talking amongst yourselves here. I mean, I don't want to hang up on anybody. What do you call it on Periscope? I guess you get off your broadcast. I'm gonna get off my broadcast, people. Good night. Thanks for coming by, everybody. Bye-bye.